March 15th on the lower Barr Trail. Got a little snowstorm yesterday. Got about 4 inches yesterday morning. March 14th was yesterday. This trail is one of my staples. I usually run to Barr Camp at least once a week. This is approaching the top of the W's, which is about 2 miles up the trail, and about 12 switchbacks from my house. This is the top of the W's. So called because this is where we kind of break away from the first part of the mountain, and there's 12 switchbacks. Switchback is also known as a W. We still have more switchbacks to go, but there's less, and it actually kind of, after about another 10 minutes, starts to actually go downhill a little bit and flatten out. Well, we got about 5 more days of calendar winter. I love this view here, looking towards Gog, Magog, and Cameron's Cone. And this is Eagle Mountain. This canyon down here is the one that the Cog Railway goes up, Engelman Canyon, and I live up at the top of it. At least as far, I'm second to the last house on Rexon. And then this is looking back towards where the peak is. Can't see it yet. Here's where you get your first view of the peak. Not the tip of the peak, but the slopes. Right out there, that white spot. Right up here is where the cutoff trail from the incline comes down. It's a shortcut, takes you down to rejoin up to the Barr Trail if you run the incline. Hey, how you doing?
Coming up. Hi, baby. Sorry.
That was where the incline comes down. This is normally dry creek, but when there gets to be some good runoff in the spring, it starts to flow some water. Now we're coming up on what I call the top of the W's Part 2, because we have a couple quick little switchbacks, and then we come up on a different part of the mountain where we actually have some flat to downhill rolling for a few minutes. Looking down on Colorado Springs. We'll come up here, around this corner, have a little bit more uphill, and then we get a little bit of downhill relief. There's our first view of Pikes Peak, right there. Whew. Here we get a little bit of downhill relief. The key here is maintain your pace, maintain your rhythm. Same effort. So you end up going a little bit faster when you hit these downhills because you're maintaining that same cadence. Now this peak up here is Rocky Mount. That saddle right there at V is our preliminary distant destination. That takes us up to No Name Creek, which is about 3 miles into the run. We're still on this relatively flat stretch. It'll take us up to the arches, or the arch, singular, which is not really an arch, but it's 2 boulders. Here we are at the arch. Pretty good icicles going on that tree. I've been up here before, seen a monstrous icicle coming all the way down this rock. Last time I was up here, this section in here was very treacherous, icy, but got some snowpack on it now, so it's not too bad. Sealed up former mine. Coming up here to the trail to the incline. The actual trail, it's flatter, takes you up here, but the one I showed you before is the shortcut from the incline, top of the incline. Whew. About 3 miles into the run. That way will take you up to the incline. This way is our celebrated downhill. Short downhill we get. Now we have a short, steep section. Takes us up to No Name. It's this little creek is sometimes erroneously named French Creek. French Creek actually drops off over by the town of Cascade, a long ways from here. Some old maps show it as Rock Creek, but officially now it has no name. I'd like to see it named Carpenter Creek, after multi-winner of the Pikes Peak Ascent and Marathon, Matt Carpenter. He came up here and did some good work building a diversion to prevent the creek from overflowing on this trail. Because in winter, sometimes the creek would overflow and cause this section here to be a sheet of ice, skating rink, impossible to even walk on. So he hired a bulldozer cat to come up here and plow a section, and then he planted it with wild grasses, native grasses, and a couple pine trees. Here it is right here, as it looks in winter. This mound prevents the creek from coming onto the trail. Now these willows are volunteer. They just popped up. Most of these grasses and pine trees, except for the big one of course, Matt planted. So this is about 3 miles up the trail. Got about 3.5 miles to Barr Camp from here. Right into the summit would be about another 9.5 miles. This trail here is takes you up to the Longs Ranch Road.